It's known as ecstasy, ex-Molly, but now the party drug MDMA may be moving from the club scene to the clinic.
Chief Health Editor Dr. Partha Nandi joins us now with more on how it may help victims of post-traumatic stress disorder.
Yeah, amazing stuff. The FDA approved phase 2 studies of the treatment now underway, and so far the results are very promising. So here's a look at the findings. 83% of patients treated using MDMA were cured of their PTSD. That's huge. Now compared to 25% being cured with talk therapy alone. So, we have to find out, how does this thing work, right?
Yeah, how does it work? How does ecstasy work on the brain, really?
So the interesting thing is that MDMA or ecstasy releases certain neurotransmitters like dopamine and epinephrine. So what happens is that it puts you in this state of calm, and that state of calm allows you to go in. So usually with PTSD, for those of you who don't know what it is that you have a traumatic event. There was a woman, for example, who was abused by, her father for many, many years, and the trauma that it caused really caused devastating damage to her life. So this drug then allows her to go into that situation, and the therapist can then guide her for that treatment. She stated that before the MDMA type treatment, she really couldn't go in, and she felt it was her fault. And once she could go in that situation, the therapist could guide her, then she could really get good therapy. But I said a key thing, the therapist is guiding her through it.
Now, we know this is an illegal drug, Doc, so is this a safer formula, or how is this safe?
Interesting, we were talking before, is that MDMA or ecstasy or Molly was actually discovered by underground therapists treating this like in the 70s. So they did it in a way that wasn't mainstream, and then the drug became notorious in the club scene, right? And so then people started using it, and they had problems. Here the difficulty is that if it's not used, remember, under a therapist's guidance, as I was saying, the patients go into their trauma, and then they can treat it. If you don't do that and you just use it like some of the clubbers do, the risks are what? Confusion, anxiety, depression, and then heart rate can go up. You can get increased blood pressure, and this can be long lasting. So it has the same effects of cocaine. And guess what? People usually combine it with other stuff. They put it with cocaine and put it with Viagra, anything they can amp the results of it.
Alcohol?
Alcohol, yeah, anything they can get their hands on, and then you have an even bigger problem. So it's risky.
One last question, is it addictive? Because it is.
It's very addictive, and some of these people, that spent fortunes trying to maintain that high and maintain that feeling of calmness, and you get really close with the people around you, and you feel like everything is perfect, which is good for therapy. But if you're not doing it with a therapist, it's dangerous. And so these results are promising, but I want people to think that now, if I have trauma, I can just do MDMA. Not the story we want to give.
It's fascinating, Doc.
It really
Thank
is.
you.
Another important thing you learn on XYZ, you never thought.
All right. You're right about that. Hey, if you have a question or concern for Dr. Nandi, you can email him, Dr. Nandi at WXYZ.com, or send it to us on Facebook or Twitter.